All right, welcome back. Here we are reading about John Smith. He was one of Jamestown's early leaders. He was originally born January 6, 1580, and he died June 21, 1631. This is a picture of him. John Smith was an English soldier. He was an explorer. He was colonial governor. He was the supposed admiral of New England, and he was an author. Sorry, just thinking about some of the horrible things he wrote about Pocahontas. He was an author, but some of the stuff he was lots of embellishment, not necessarily truth. So he played an important role in the establishment of the colony of Jamestown, Virginia. We read about that just recently. Remember, Jamestown was the first place that the English settled in the larger colony of Virginia. So Jamestown was a colony, but it was just the starting point of a much bigger colony, Virginia. But remember, Jamestown was the first permanent English settlement in America during the 17th century. He was a leader of the Virginia colony between September 1608 and August 1609, so for about a year he was in charge. And he led an exploration along the rivers of Virginia and the Chesapeake Bay, during which he became the first English explorer to map the Chesapeake Bay area. Later, he also explored and mapped the rest of the coast of New England. And try something else. We've got this map right here. Looking at this map, you can see, and you can pause the video and look a little bit more closely, but you're not going to see most of this on your tests, but just gives you an idea of where he was exploring. You have, for instance, today, this would be Baltimore up here. And you would have up here, you'd have Washington, D.C. Obviously, they're not there in this map because they didn't exist yet, but he would eventually get there. All right, so let's continue. Where is my mouse? Here we go. So Jamestown was originally established in 1607. And Smith is credited as having trained the first settlers to farm and work. And this is said to have saved the colony from early devastation. He is remembered as saying publicly, "He that will not work shall not eat." You know, that might be pretty important. There might be a reason why I put that in bold down there. Previously, harsh weather, lack of food and water, and the surrounding swampy wilderness filled with mosquitoes that gave people diseases and would kill them, as well as Indian attacks, almost destroyed the early Jamestown colony. With Smith's leadership, however, Jamestown survived and eventually flourished, although the flourishing is mostly due to John Rolfe and him bringing tobacco to the colony. Now, the people in Jamestown were mostly, we're talking about nobility. We're talking about businessmen. We're not necessarily talking about peasants under the early feudal system. So they didn't work. They weren't used to working. And John Smith, who was not of the nobility, steps up and gets in charge of all these people and basically just says, "You will work or you will starve. Do what I say and live, or don't do what I say and die." Obviously made lots of enemies, and there's a lot of juicy drama there. But for the most part, we're mostly just focused on this quote. He's remembered for saying, "He that will not work shall not eat." Now, Smith was forced to return to England after being injured by an accidental explosion of gunpowder in a canoe. It is possible he may have accidentally set that gunpowder off himself. But he did recover, and he was back in Europe. Eventually, he wrote a book detailing his experiences, some of which are regarding Pocahontas, the Native American princess. He eventually did die in London in 1631. So this will be John Smith, and I hope that this was helpful for you.